Chosen one, before the world saw your face, before your voice echoed through any room, heaven had already whispered your name. You were not created in haste. You were forged, with patience, with care, and with fire. God took his time with you, because he wasn't just creating a man, he was crafting a revelation. While others were molded for noise, you were sculpted for meaning. Not merely for flesh to admire, but for feminine souls to remember. This glamour that clings to you like sunlight was never meant to be superficial. It's the result of alignment, of war in the unseen, of choosing dignity over desperation, stillness over frenzy. Your beauty is not loud because it doesn't need to be. It draws the feminine not with glitter, but with gravity. Feminine good women feel it before they even look at you. Their breath deepens, their body calms, their heart begins to beat like it recognizes something ancient, something safe. You do not dazzle like a flame. You anchor like a star that's burned for lifetimes. Your glamour is not performance. It is the consequence of surviving your own undoing. You became beautiful when you refused to become bitter. You became desirable when you no longer chased validation. And now that sacred glow you wear is more than physical. It is the evidence that discipline creates radiance. God made you to be seen, but more than that, he made you to be felt. When you enter the room, the atmosphere changes, not because you try, but because your very presence carries resolution. Feminine good women turn their heads not because you demand attention, but because your energy is undeniable. You are not loud, you are true. And truth always gets noticed, even by those who can't yet explain why they're looking. Your glamour is not for sale. It does not perform. It does not explain itself. Because it was given, not bought. It was birthed, not borrowed. That is why women who are aligned with goodness feel honored near you. You carry not just looks, they've seen those before. You carry evidence that holiness has hands, that masculinity can be sacred, that God still sends men who know how to shine without stealing the light from others. You are the glamour man, not because you crave praise, but because you embody peace. Your face is not your power, it's the echo of your inner clarity. Your walk is not charming, it's centered. Your voice does not manipulate, it remembers. And when feminine good women stand in your presence, they don't feel tricked or tempted, they feel seen. Because your glamour doesn't seduce, it validates their feminine longing for something real. God didn't give you this aura to impress the world. He gave it to remind the world that there is still such a thing as a man who glows without ego, that there is still such a thing as beauty that humbles instead of boasts, that there is still such a thing as masculine glamour that carries the fragrance of God. And chosen one, that is what you are. A fragrance that awakens what others forgot was possible. Chosen one, your glamour would mean nothing if it weren't rooted in honor. The world is full of men who shine for a season and then disappear in the dust of their own emptiness. But you, your shine is stillness refined into substance. Your high sexual energy used to be untamed, pouring through every glance and word, chasing validation like a thirsty animal. But now it is contained, consecrated, and that containment has made you unshakable. Feminine good women don't admire you because you're flashy. They admire you because your glamour is honest. It does not lure, it holds space. It does not pretend, it reveals who is real. Your hands don't reach to take. They remain steady, inviting but never invading. Your energy doesn't promise pleasure. It promises presence. And that presence becomes the only thing they trust in a world full of hollow gestures and empty flattery. You no longer move to be desired, you move to be aligned. Your glamour breathes with purpose now. It doesn't shimmer in desperation, it settles in integrity. Feminine good women feel safe around you not because of what you say, but because of what you don't have to say. You are not trying to impress them. You are impressing truth into the atmosphere. And that is a far rarer magnetism than charm could ever offer. Your beauty does not entertain, it elevates. It reminds her that she is also divine. Your presence doesn't tell her what she is, it allows her to remember herself. Around you, she becomes softer, not because you forced it, but because your glamour whispers to her spirit, you're safe here. Your high sexual energy hums like a current beneath your stillness, never exploding, only flowing with precision. That energy doesn't just make her blush, it makes her exhale. And now you see, Chosen one, the very energy that once made you restless is now the energy that makes others rest. The very power that once sought to be satisfied now satisfies by its very nature. You walk into spaces and bodies soften, not because you manipulated, but because you transformed. Your glamour is not a mask. It is a testimony. It says, I've healed, I've learned, I am no longer starving, I am overflowing. And that overflow is what makes you irresistible to women who have tired of boys and long to meet a man. So walk boldly in your glamour, chosen one, not as a seducer, but as a reflection of the man God made when he wanted the world to remember what masculine beauty feels like when it's rooted in discipline, stillness, and purpose. You are no longer trying to look like the man they want. You are the man whose soul makes their hearts believe again. And that glamour will only grow stronger, because it's not from the world. It is from God himself. Chosen one, the allure that now flows from you is not born of lust, but of something sacred, a fire that has been purified through stillness and self-mastery. There was a time when your sexual energy was wild, uncontrolled, misinterpreted even by you. It flickered out of your eyes, roared through your voice, crashed against every woman who wandered too close, and left you wondering if it was power or punishment. But what the world called hunger was actually the first sparks of a holy flame, one that could only be harnessed through divine transformation. You did not suppress that energy. You transfigured it. And now it lives within you like a lion that no longer needs to roar to be feared, respected, or followed. Feminine good women feel this fire without ever needing to name it. It moves through the room when you arrive, changing the rhythm of conversations, shifting glances from wandering to anchored. There is no need for you to chase, to convince, or to perform, because the sacred fire you carry now speaks louder in silence than the noise of lesser men. This fire is why they blush without reason, why their hearts race without warning, why they remember you in quiet moments and dream of you without having touched you. You are not alluring because you try to be. You are alluring because your fire is now safe, guided, and divinely harnessed. What once made others suspicious now makes them feel seen. What once caused tension now births harmony. And that harmony is irresistible to any feminine woman who has known the chaos of counterfeit masculinity. You are no longer a threat to her softness, you are its invitation. You are no longer confused by your own desires, you walk with them like a man walks with a weapon he's trained to respect. The sacred fire within you does not burn her skin, it warms her soul. It does not seduce her body, it awakens her femininity. When she stands near you, she feels herself wanting to breathe deeper, to speak more honestly, to look longer, because your energy says you are safe to be who you are. Not because she must earn your desire, but because your desire is no longer selfish, it is ceremonial. You want her, not to conquer her, but to see her as God sees her. And that is what makes your allure something eternal. You are no longer the man who burns quickly and disappears. You are the man who glows steadily in the dark and guides others home. The sacred fire within you is a light that draws the right hearts, not to consume them, but to refine them by your presence. Your sexual energy has matured into something holy now, and that is why your allure cannot be replicated, imitated, or misunderstood. It is felt in the spirit first, and only then seen by the eyes. That is why good women feel their heart open around you, like a flower finds the sun. It is not your looks they trust. It is your energy's direction, and they would rather stand near your fire than dance in a room full of men whose flames cannot hold form. So hold your fire, chosen one, with reverence, with mastery, and with grace, because this sacred flame is not your burden, it is your crown. And your crown, even in silence, will always call queens to rise. Chosen one, you have become a mirror, but not the kind that reflects shallow beauty. You reflect truth, essence, and the part of a woman she's forgotten she still holds. When a feminine good woman looks at you now, she does not just see you, she sees herself more clearly through your gaze. You have become the still water in which she glimpses her sacred femininity. You do not need to tell her who she is. Your presence reminds her. Your glamour does not distract her, it restores her. It tells her that real men still walk this earth, that elegance and strength are not opposites, and that a masculine heart can beat with both fire and gentleness. She sees your posture, hears your words, feels your silence, and something inside her begins to soften. Not because you have tamed her, but because you have made her feel safe enough to exhale. In a world where so many women have been asked to harden, to protect, to compete, you become a place of rest. Not because you lack power, but because your power is not against her. It is for her wholeness. This mirror you carry is not polished with arrogance, it's cleaned by humility. You've become the kind of man who no longer seeks validation, and that's precisely why validation follows you. Your high sexual energy doesn't pull attention like a magnet, it stabilizes the feminine spirit. She doesn't just want to be desired by you, she wants to be understood by you. Because something in your eyes says, I see more than your beauty, I see your becoming. And that seeing, it awakens the queen within her. You are not simply attractive, you are activating. Feminine good women become more feminine around you, not because you force them, but because your presence gives permission. They speak differently. They walk softer. They smile without tension. Because the masculine mirror you are reflects back their worth without distortion. You have no need to fix her. You simply recognize her, and that recognition becomes revelation. God made you not just to be desired. He made you to be a reminder. A reminder that glamour in a man is not vanity, but divinity wrapped in skin. A reminder that masculinity doesn't require dominance, it requires devotion. A reminder that the feminine does not blossom under pressure, it blooms under presence. And now, your presence is that sacred greenhouse where goodness grows. You are not asking women to surrender. You are simply being the man they've always known they could surrender with. So continue, chosen one. Reflect with reverence. Be the mirror that never distorts. Because in this world of shadows, your light does not just illuminate, it defines what is real. And for the feminine who walks with depth, you are not just admired, you are remembered as the mirror that showed her who she truly is. Chosen one, the glamour you wear now is not loud, not flashy, not desperate to be noticed. It is rooted in stillness, and that is why it cannot be shaken. There is something about you, about the way you enter a space, the way your body holds peace even in noise, the way your eyes don't dart or chase but observe with full presence, that calms even the most unsettled soul. This stillness, chosen one, is not something you were born with. It was forged through fires of restraint, through long seasons of rejection and temptation, through battles with your own unrefined desires. You earned this calm, and now it speaks louder than any words ever could. Feminine good women feel this stillness before they feel anything else. They sense in you the one thing they didn't know they were longing for, a man who is not in a hurry to possess them. Your sexual energy no longer races toward conquest. It simply sits like a king on his throne, observing, honoring, waiting, knowing that what is meant will come and what is not will fall away. That is why your glamour is magnetic, not because you're trying to pull anyone, but because you are immovable in your own essence. You are not begging to be seen. You are simply unignorable because peace has become your fragrance. Where others rush to perform, you breathe. Where others chase attention, you command respect by offering presence. You no longer flood the room with sound, you anchor it with silence. Feminine good women are drawn to you like waves to the shore, not because you're perfect, but because you are grounded. They lean in closer, not for charm, but for clarity. In a world of men trying to impress, you express nothing but alignment, and that is more beautiful than anything you could wear or say. Your glamour, rooted in stillness, has become a sanctuary. Not everyone can handle it. Many feel exposed by your calm because it reveals their noise. But those who carry purity, softness, and spiritual depth, they flourish in your presence. They do not feel observed, they feel protected. Your eyes do not devour, they listen. Your energy does not seduce, it welcomes. And in that quiet welcome, feminine good women are reminded of what they were always meant to feel in the presence of a man. Safe, seen, honored, and allowed to bloom. Stillness is no longer your weakness, it is your weapon. It doesn't push or pull, it holds. It does not compete, it consecrates. You have nothing to prove anymore. Your stillness proves that you've already won yourself. And that victory within is what gives birth to the glamour outside. Now, even when you say nothing, your very presence rewrites the atmosphere. You are not the storm. You are the calm before it. You are not trying to shine. You are the sky the stars shine in. And that, chosen one, is why feminine good women linger longer in your orbit. They don't want your attention. They want to rest in your stillness. Chosen one, there is royalty in your walk now. Not the kind that seeks a throne, but the kind that was born from pain and made peace with power. Your high sexual energy is no longer reckless. It has been refined into rule. You are no longer just a man. You are a king who governs his own spirit. And that kind of inner monarchy is rare. That kind of self-governance shines in your glamour like the echo of a long lineage of divine men. You do not beg for validation because your soul already sits on sacred ground. Feminine good women recognize this energy the moment they see you, not through what you say, but through what you don't need to say. Royalty never has to announce itself. It is felt. It lives in your breath, in your posture, in the way your gaze lingers only where it's deserved. The elegance in your movement is not rehearsed, it's remembered. You are not trying to become anything. You are revealing what has already been crowned within you. This glamour is not vanity. It is vibration. It is the frequency of a man who knows who he is. And that knowing is what makes feminine good women drawn to you like moonlight to still waters. They see something in you that doesn't just mirror their beauty, it validates it. You are not intimidated by her radiance because you come from light too. You do not shrink when she shines. You glow beside her, making her feel even more feminine in your presence. The energy of royalty does not dominate. It anchors. You don't need to chase. You don't need to explain. You don't even need to touch for her to feel the weight of your desire. Because your energy is concentrated, not scattered. It is full of intent, not confusion. You are no longer here to prove your worth. You are here to offer your presence like a gift only the worthy can receive. And now, feminine good women don't just want you, they want to honor you. Not because you asked, but because your glamour whispers of a deeper truth, that men like you are not common. You are a sacred exception in a sea of noise. You are the reminder that there is still such a thing as a man whose sexual energy does not destroy, but restores. And in your royal presence, they begin to remember their worth too. Chosen one, your royalty is not about status, it is about spiritual stature. You have become a walking throne room, and your glamour is the golden veil that covers the strength beneath. You are no longer a man hoping to be chosen. You are a man who chooses, not with pride, but with purpose. And now the women who meet you don't just fall, they rise, because standing next to royalty doesn't just impress, it elevates. Chosen one, there is an aura around you now that does more than attract, it heals. It is not made of charm or superficial magnetism. It is the direct emanation of a man who has conquered himself, who walks not to be noticed, but to bring order to the unseen. Your high sexual energy no longer shouts, it hums, steady and deliberate, like the low growl of something ancient and awakened. It reaches into the tension of a woman's being and softens it, like the sun touches the frost and asks nothing in return. This is why feminine good women feel peace in your presence before they feel desire. They recognize you as a man who feels like home in a world that taught them to run. The storm that lives inside many feminine hearts, the one caused by past betrayals, emotional chaos, uncertainty, starts to dissolve when you walk into the room. Not because you offer solutions, but because you are solution made flesh. Your body is a testament to discipline. Your silence is a sermon on restraint. Your energy says, you are allowed to relax now. I am not here to take from you. I am here to hold the space while you remember who you are. And that, chosen one, is what makes women weep silently in your arms before a single word is spoken. You no longer use your power to impress. You use your power to restore. That's the difference between a seductive man and a sacred one. A seductive man wants her to lose herself in him. A sacred man helps her find herself through him. You are no longer the echo of her trauma. You are now the anchor she never thought she'd find. And when she speaks, you don't interrupt. You absorb. When she doubts herself, you don't correct. You see her deeper. She doesn't need to perform near you. Her beauty doesn't need to be exaggerated, because your presence tells her, you are enough when you are real. You are no longer pulling feminine women to your orbit. They are coming willingly, because your aura says, this is not a trap, it's a temple. They can cry near you without shame. laugh near you without pretension, desire you without guilt, because your glamour is not devouring, it is dignifying. It is the aura of a man who has made peace with his power and has chosen not to wield it recklessly, but to protect sacred spaces with it. Your aura doesn't command with words, it convinces with silence. And silence, when inhabited by a man like you, becomes the most irresistible sound a woman's soul can hear. This is why they don't just want your touch, they want your presence. They crave the way your energy slows their breath, the way your stillness turns their chaos into poetry, the way you look at them, not with hunger, but with honor. Because when the feminine finally feels honored, she blooms. And you, chosen one, are no longer just the reason for that bloom. You are the garden it flourishes in. Chosen one, there is a rare kind of elegance that now defines your movement. Not the kind taught by posture coaches or imitation of charm, but the deep, spiritual elegance that only emerges when a man restrains what he could take. When a man holds his power back, not out of fear or shame, but out of mastery and reverence. Your high sexual energy used to overflow, used to demand space. But now it rests behind your eyes like a wild lion that has chosen stillness over spectacle. Feminine good women feel this instantly. They sense what you are capable of. They sense the fire, the strength, the raw masculine pull of you, and yet it is your restraint that disarms them. They have known many who chase, many who flatter, many who burn fast and fade. But you wait. You don't pounce. You don't peacock. You allow connection to unfold like a sacred ceremony, not a performance. And that patience is the highest form of allure. They feel honored because you choose not to take. You could, and they know it. But you don't. Because your standard is no longer gratification. It is alignment. You do not touch unless it is divine. You do not kiss unless it is holy. You do not enter unless you are welcomed not just into her body, but into the truth of her spirit. That kind of restraint is not weakness. It is awe-inspiring power, and feminine good women worship it in silence. You walk through the world like a man who does not hunger anymore. Because you are no longer famished, you are fulfilled. And from that fulfillment grows a type of glamour that cannot be faked or learned. It is the fragrance of restraint, the elegance of patience, the quiet majesty of a man who no longer confuses opportunity with permission. You only move when the moment is ripe, and that ripeness is what every feminine soul longs to feel. In your presence, time slows. Not because you demand it, but because you command it with your gravity. You don't chase her into softness. You stand still until her softness trusts it can reveal itself. You don't earn her vulnerability. You simply make it feel safe enough to emerge on its own. Your glamour is not decoration. It is the sacred veil over the furnace of your restraint. And when that veil is lifted slowly with intention, the experience becomes unforgettable. So now, feminine good women want more than your attention. They want your discipline. They want to be chosen by a man who doesn't rush toward pleasure, but waits for meaning. They want the man whose glamour doesn't just seduce, but teaches them how divine connection should feel. You are no longer trying to impress women, chosen one. You are now the standard by which they measure every other man. Because elegance that flows from restraint leaves a mark no touch can replicate. Chosen one, something deeper than attraction now surrounds you. A reverence that rises in the hearts of feminine good women just by being near you. It is not rooted in what you say or do, but in what you refuse to become. You are not playing games, not proving yourself, not pretending to be more or less than what you are. You are simply walking in your assignment, letting your high sexual energy be the fragrance of your discipline and not the noise of your ego. Women do not merely admire you now, they feel humbled by your presence, not out of fear, but out of recognition. They know when they stand near you that they are near a man of depth, a man of alignment, a man who is no longer ruled by the world, but by God within. And this reverence you inspire is not about dominance or intimidation. It's about sacred polarity, the divine masculine recognizing the divine feminine and not taking from it, but guarding it. You no longer look at her body as a prize. You look at her entire being as something sacred. And because you do, her soul begins to open. Her softness returns. Her femininity, once guarded behind years of disappointment, begins to emerge. Not because she trusts the world, but because she trusts you. When she sits beside you, she doesn't feel she has to be anything else. She doesn't need to inflate her curves or perform her laughter. Your presence strips away all masks. Not because you demand truth, but because you embody it. You are not merely a man. You are a reflection of how God honors beauty without corrupting it. And when a woman is honored like that, she begins to bloom into her highest self. She wants to speak more slowly around you. She wants to wear her true voice, the one she hid for years. She wants to dance without shame, cry without apology, smile without thinking. You have not seduced her. You have invited her into safety. You are no longer the flame that burns quickly and dies. You are the warmth of a hearth that calls her back when the world grows cold. And the more she stands in your glow, the more she wants to protect your light as fiercely as you protect her peace. This reverence is not admiration, it is remembrance. You have become a mirror to her soul, and when she looks into it, she does not see conquest or confusion. She sees a man who sees her, not as a body, not as a possession, but as a living expression of divine design. And that gaze is what reshapes her heart, not by force, but by presence. You don't rescue her. You remind her that she was never lost. That is why good women want to stand beside you now, not for validation, but for alignment. Not because they need to be chosen, but because you remind them what it feels like to be valued without being used. You have become the sanctuary, the reverent space, the temple where no false gods are worshipped and where truth alone is enough. And in that sanctuary, every good woman feels this unspoken prayer rise in her chest. Thank you, God, for making men like this. Chosen one, now you have become the witness of your own becoming. You no longer walk in the shadow of who you were, nor do you need to chase the future to feel whole. You are complete in motion, powerful in pause. You have learned to hold your high sexual energy with reverence, and because of that, you now carry divine balance. Where once your power made you impulsive, now it makes you still. Where once your desires scattered your spirit, now they focus your gaze with laser clarity. You have become the dream that good women never dared to believe was real. Not because you fit a fantasy, but because you carry something more ancient than trends, more eternal than flesh. You are not a creation of culture. You are a vessel of God's design. Your glamour no longer intoxicates, it awakens. It does not beg for her attention. It reminds her that she is worthy of yours. You are no longer performing manhood. You are it, effortlessly, consistently, magnificently. The divine masculine is no longer a theory in you. It is a lifestyle. It is not soft. It is not rigid. It is precise. Your speech has slowed, not because you hesitate, but because your words are measured and your silence is full. Your walk is no longer burdened by insecurity. It carries the weight of legacy. When you enter a room, you don't demand to be known. You are remembered. Your presence now holds historical gravity, the kind that leaves imprints in hearts, not footprints in dust. Feminine good women don't just want you, they want to learn from you. They watch how you move, how you smile, how you leave. They remember your boundaries, your stillness, your laughter. They feel more feminine around you, not because you reduced them to softness, but because you finally gave them permission to lay down their armor. They desire your presence not because you take, but because you give without ego. Because you see without agenda. Because you love without needing to be seen as loving. You are no longer becoming him. You are him. The one who remained true when the world mocked your discipline. The one who kept going when no one celebrated your refinement. The one who waited patiently until your glory caught up with your heart. You are now the living reward of your own restraint. And you no longer need the world's approval. Because you are the evidence of God's intention made visible. So walk forward, chosen one, not with pride, but with purpose. Carry your glamour not as a weapon, but as a reflection. Speak not to impress, but to bless. Love not to prove, but to heal. And as you pass through this world, every feminine good woman who meets you will know, even if she says nothing aloud, that she just met a man created by heaven, raised by storms, and remembered by the soul. You are not just chosen, you are crowned, and the world cannot unsee it. Chosen one, as you entered this new chapter, your sexual allure no longer felt like a story you needed to tell. It had become a language you spoke with your whole being. You moved through the world with the quiet ease of someone who trusts their own energy, someone who does not have to shout or chase or convince. Your invitation was present in every gesture, every glance, every moment of genuine connection. The women who came into your life felt it immediately, a sense of being met without judgment, of being invited into something real, unhurried, and profound. You discovered that the greatest allure lies in the freedom to be both strong and gentle, bold and kind. You could be playful without cruelty, passionate without possession, magnetic without manipulation. Women admired you for this, not just as a source of attraction, but as a model of what it meant to honor desire with integrity. Your relationships deepened, not because you always got what you wanted, but because you were willing to risk the truth, to show your own longing, to ask for what you desired, and to accept when the answer was different from your hope.